To rent or to buy? That is the question. Tonight, I have mortgage lender and real estate investor, Mr. Orlando Minor, the one and only YouTuber on my show tonight, to talk about whether we should really be thinking about buying a house. So many of us have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for this bubble to burst, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So, we wanted to hear from an expert tonight to help guide us in making our decisions. Now, of course, everybody's financial situation is individual, so we cannot say what you should do specifically, but we're definitely going to discuss the factors you should consider as you think about whether you should continue to rent or whether it's a great time to buy a home. Please hit the like button as you come on in. I have again special guest Orlando Minor. He is a YouTuber. He has a fantastic channel. Go ahead and check it out. It's in the description. They said they came here to see Orlando laugh. I like it. Professor Cutie in the building. Thank you so much. We'll take that. Again, we are with a fantastic YouTuber. He's also on Instagram, a real estate investor, knows the market. It's going to teach us a thing or two tonight. I can't wait because I need help. I have lived in Florida almost my entire life. I think Florida is a wonderful market. Sometimes it makes you so comfortable you don't even want to look nowhere else. Hello, somebody. And when I'm thinking about making moves, one of the things that you want to do, hopefully, to help combat some of the inflation and other things is to make investments. Now, whether or not the investments are going to pay off is the big question, and whether or not it's a good time. And I would hate to see a replay of that housing bubble. You guys remember where everybody in 2007, 2008, it was such a hot market. People were getting loans, didn't even do no background checks. It was just a terrible and crazy time until, the bottom fell out. Boom. People could not afford the mortgages that they had taken out. There were mortgages that were, I love to plug in my laptop after the fact. But yeah, my light coming out, Lord Jesus, God Jesus. Let me go ahead and put this on. So yes, we have a little bit of technical difficulties here on the SuzetteSpeaks show, but it's at least y'all know I'm real. They don't want me to be great, Orlando. But as I think about how many people lost their homes in foreclosure, how many people ended up with bad mortgages, how many people borrowed what they could not afford. They were listening to the people and got into mortgages way over their heads and ended up in foreclosure. I had a real estate and title company for several years, and I looked at how crazy things were. So, as an attorney, as a person who has looked at this market herself, should we be renting? That's the real question. Should we be renting? Now, I was reading different articles preparing for today's discussion because I got a professional in the building, Mr. Orlando Minor. Y'all hit the like button as you come in. So they were saying certain things. I'm going to ask him what he thinks. Should you, if you were going to be living at a place more than 5 years, then you should think about purchasing. If you were wanting more flexibility and you want to move and remain somewhat transient, less than 2 years in a place, should you rent? There's so many factors that we really want to contemplate. We got a good solid hour with this gentleman. I'm so grateful for his time, and I'm grateful that you're here. If you are new to the Suzette Speaks channel, or if you're visiting to come support your boy, your man, please hit the like button. Let us know. Leave a comment in the chat. For those who don't know me, I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm out of Miami. I'm a TV host and attorney and now a YouTuber trying to make a difference on these YouTube streets, they tell me. I love current events, legal issues. I like uplifting stories as well as personal development. So you'll find somewhat of a hodgepodge of topics over here. Of course, y'all love relationships when I get into it, and thinking about how to improve oneself. That's really what my channel and my message is about. Self-awareness and self-improvement. If you go back and watch some of the shows we recently did, I think you'll find some value there, a lot of value, honestly. So shout out to, for example, Do Men Still Want to Build a Legacy with Ezra, the real estate broker? And going back to some of the other shows that I had, I don't even think I'm like right now off the top of my head, but they are amazing shows. Great content. You will pass the time while you work or while you on the bike in the gym and learn something and feel something different, or look at yourself or the relationships around you in a different light with a new perspective. And that's what we try to do here on the Suzette Speaks show. So if this is your first time and you're here to support the one and only Mr. Orlando Minor, I'm so excited, y'all. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know you're here to support. Again, we do work over here, a little bit of, again, varied topics. And I have a Patreon as well. So if you like enlightening, in-depth, and even a little bit of behind the scenes of what I do here in Miami, come over to the Patreon. I'll be going to Jamaica at the end of this month, and I'll be on Patreon a lot. Oh my gosh. Hanging out, finally going on my first vacay, y'all, since the pandemic. I'm not one of those people who have been traveling the last 2 years. I really was trying to stay safe. And now it's time to get out there and get on the beach. And y'all know I've been trying to work out, but we still got some work to do. Hallelujah. But tonight, again, I'm really curious to hear what this real estate professional has to say. Many people, like myself, are looking around. Should I be investing? Everybody wants to invest in, open up an Airbnb and like Midtown Miami and these places. But the Florida market, it's kind of stank. I don't know if that's a technical term, but the beautiful Sunshine State is a hodgepodge. We have a very high market here in Miami, one of the highest most expensive in the country. Makes me want to move sometimes. A lot of my friends have sold, taken their money, and gone up to Orlando. No pun intended, Orlando. But got up to Orlando, and they trying to look around because it's much more affordable there. Other parts of the state, Jacksonville, Tampa has been a hot market as well. But if you were a person who has not yet gone into the housing market, if you were first, renting and kind of taking your time, because again, if you are a Gen Y millennial, you've gone through a few crashes, you've gone through a pandemic, and you've been looking around and you're wondering to yourself, is this my time? So we have not seen, especially within that, 30 to 50 age group, as much investment as the boomers. And of course, if you are a Z, you are even more likely not to own property yet. So it can be difficult to know when is the right time for you. So we're going to break it all the way down. Hit the like button. Let me say hello to a couple people before I bring my guest up, because I'm really excited to have him here. He's a big deal, guys. He's a big deal here in YouTube. Hey, Miss AKA Lady says, real estate has been my biggest financial game changer. If you're prepared and the rates, make sense. Bye. Hey, Suzette. Hey, how are you doing? Listen, I thought this was the funniest. Black Taker Bell said, y'all look like brother and sister on that thumbnail, on that fly. Listen, we all originate, y'all know, from the, what should I say, the Eve that was in Africa. So we probably got some DNA for real. We all cousins, y'all. Shout out to Professor Cutie Pie. Nice to have you here. How are you, Sunbreeze? I'm doing well today. Thank you for asking. Appreciate you checking in. One of my wonderful moderators here on the channel. Let me see who else. RM is in the building. How you doing, sis? Glad to have you as well. And I'm grateful. Doug, listen, Doug gonna be like, when are you gonna bring up my guest tomorrow? My guest tomorrow is dating as a high value man. Andre Hatchett has been on the coming soon list for so long. But like I said, we got, y'all got to go back and watch this show right here. Saturday show, The Mental Health That Men Hide. OMG. Thank you so much, Nelson Counseling, another good brother on these YouTube streets, talking about the different traumas, pain, all of the things that men do not show us. This was such a good show Saturday. I hope you guys will take some time to view it. It was amazing. But again, we got work to do tonight. So without further ado, let me bring up my special guest for the very first time on the Suzette Speaks show. Let's welcome the one and only Mr. Orlando Minor. How are you, sir?
Hey, how are you?
I'm so excited. My brother, apparently, do we look like brothers?
I saw that.
We got the same kind of head face shape. Isn't that great? We actually do. Looking at you right now.
Yeah.
The resemblance is uncanny. Do you got people from the islands at all?
None.
Okay.
None.
Maybe your great granddaddy, my granddaddy knew something about something. Hello and welcome. How you feeling? Glad you're here.
Good. I'm glad
excited.
to be here.
Doug, you do not be simping. He's talking about I be super simping over there on Suzette's Patreon, but y'all so funny. But welcome to the show, first and foremost. Tell the folks who, I guess there are so many thousands that know about you, but tell the folks, there we go, who don't know about you, what it is you do here on YouTube, please.
So on my channel, I basically tell everyone about the house, what's going on in the housing market, update on current news. I also talk about helping people get into their first rental property. And so we talk about basically all things real estate on my channel.
Okay, they over here looking at the smile. They talking about Orlando got a night. Listen, we talk
Thank you.
relationships a lot here, so people feel very comfortable. They're gonna tell you how you feel. They gonna tell you if your shirt match and if you look good today, all of that. But yes, the DNA don't lie, Miss AKA Lady. Welcome.
Mhm.
Says RM. Oh
Mm.
goodness, thank you for the gift already on the super chat. Trish. Hey Suzette and
Hey.
Orlando, how are you, my sister? With the pones on the super chat. Thank you so much. So we're gonna get into it, Orlando. So,
Yeah.
what you doing, bro? Let's say you're telling people or you're teaching people how to enter the real estate market, whether they're renting or buying. Your
Right.
background is as a lender. Can you tell us a little bit more
Right.
about your background in real life?
Yeah, so I'm a mortgage lender, more on the commercial side than the residential side. I've been doing that for about 17, 18 years. I'm also a real estate investor, so I basically cover both ends of real estate as an investor, as a lender, and yeah, so I've been doing that for a long
So
time.
you
Real estate
yeah.
investor for about 14 years.
Wonderful. Okay, so guys,
Yeah,
he's been not only talking a good game, he's been walking a good game. So I want people to
oh
know
yeah.
that because I think sometimes when you hear people give advice, sometimes you're like, who is this person? Where they from? What do they do? And I want you
Hmm.
guys to know that he actually is doing this in his real life. So coming again from a place of, there are a lot of different circumstances that you individually should consider before thinking about whether to rent or buy. We're just going to discuss a few tonight. So again,
Yeah.
you need to be with a real estate professional in your area where you live. Of course, we're international here on the Suzette Speak Show. So if you are going to think about these things seriously, take this as food for thought. But if you want actual advice, contact someone directly in the market that you're looking to buy. So we want to. I always leave the disclaimers. It's the lawyers in me,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lawyer in me. But thank you, Trish, again for the wonderful gift again tonight. Special guest, the big dog, Orlando Minor, in case you didn't know, is on the Suzette Speak
You
Show. You're
thinking me
welcome, guys. I'm excited. I have been like thinking about this. I had my dates mixed up, had the wrong stream up today. The people was mad, but it's okay. The replay team replay, come on in, hit the like button, and I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. So let's get to this question: to rent or buy? What you saying, bro? How do we even start this? Because there's so many different pieces to this puzzle. I see this sign a lot in
Mm-hmm.
Florida. Them rents doubled, tripled,
They
quadrupled.
did.
It is
They did.
scary, 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 scary. So, what do you think?
Well, what I tell individuals is it really depends on your situation. But if if you are in a situation where you have to buy, for whatever reason, then you just have to look at the information and the data that's out there. But for most people who are sitting on the fence and deciding should I rent or buy, I'm telling people to rent right now because interest rates are going through the roof and they will continue to get higher and higher. We just saw the inflation numbers come out last week, and inflation is still out of control. And so the Fed is going to continue to raise rates. And as they continue to raise rates, people's buying power decreases. So I'm telling individuals just go ahead and sit on the sidelines for right now. You sign a 1-year lease, and by same time year round, you will be able to get a better view of exactly what you need to do.
Now that's hard to do, bro. Because some of us we
It
done had
is. It
that little money
is.
on the. I've been saving up. I've been saving up, and you want it. You like, wait a minute, because everybody's coming to Miami. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
back outside, and I want to
Yeah.
invest. I see everybody with their big Airbnb checks and whatnot, and I'm thinking to myself, but why? Wait, but again, what markets do you work within? What
You talking
state are
about
you?
Oh, so I'm in St. Louis area on the
Okay,
Illinois
so
side.
I'm
So,
talking about the MIA. These people out here want you to. I'm telling you, you will go from like 1,800 to 2,500. I'm talking about 40 and 50 and
mm-hmm.
60% rent increases, to the point
Yeah,
where, like, I even
yeah.
talked to my homeboy the other night, and I was like, "What happened to so and so?" They were like, "Oh no, they moved to Orlando." Many
They
folks.
can't take it.
No, South Florida, especially because we have a lot of people from the Northeast and across the world,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, that have long money, right? People who come down from New York, the housing down here looks cheap to them. So for
Yes.
us, it's way too expensive. But for the person who came from, $4,000 and $5,000 rent, they're looking like
Yeah.
the house is only 400,000. Yay! And for us, I'm like, that same house was 250 5 years ago. What's going on?
Yeah.
So tell
Yeah.
us why these changes have occurred, it seems so rapidly. Is it all with the pandemic? Is it all with inflation? Why have housing prices, and I'm sure, tell me about St. Louis, have the prices of homes gone up significantly there as well?
Uh, No, not necessarily. So St. Louis and normally the Midwest pretty much stays. It's really stable, so it doesn't really have that high appreciation that you would normally see in like the coastal cities. So like in California or like you said Miami, Boston or something like that. Those coastal cities, the appreciation will shoot up. The Midwest, it really doesn't have that type of appreciation. It's gonna appreciate five, on a good time you may get up close to 8, 9, 10%.
Wow.
But the safe bet about that is that when a recession hit or a crash hit, it doesn't go down that much either. So it's a really stable market.
I'm shocked. That's not what I live in. These coastal
Yeah.
cities, as you put it, are a lot
Mm-hmm.
more fluctuating. Hey, Links, let me say what's up to a few people, because my problem is, when I was ready and looking, even as during the pandemic a little bit, at
Mm.
investing in different things, and yeah, it was like a 10,000 buyers for one house. So
Yeah.
I saw a lot of this. I saw, okay, multiple offers. And then I'm looking like, but I'm just coming up with my little, y'all hit the like button. We doing work over here. Hey DL, I see you. Thank you so much, Suzette, with the new do hot gal things. See what we be talking about? We over here talking real estate, but I thank you, links. I appreciate it. Feeling refreshed. You got to keep it switching up
Yeah.
a little bit for the folks. They don't want to get too used to you on YouTube.
Yeah.
You got to keep it fresh, like a young gal. Hello. So yeah. So first and foremost, okay, let
That's
me do a
funny.
quick reset. Guys, welcome Orlando Minor. Go to his social media sites. Go check out his channel first and foremost. You see it there. It's in the description. Thank you, RM. And I want you guys to go show some love, because he does a lot of great shows. He has a wonderful following about real estate, investing, renting, all the different aspects, what to do in this type of volatile marketplace. So I'm asking him to just share a little bit of his wisdom tonight. He's saying, stay put. If you ain't in it already, you might want to stay put. Again, speak with a local professional in the market where you live or where you're looking to buy. However, as he has said, the interest rates are skyrocketing. They were just at what, 2 and 3%. Now they're at what,
Yeah.
7%. It's
Yeah. Now they're
crazy.
at South. Yeah, they're going
You
up and up and
better
up.
try to do the math, not the math, the math. Do the math and check out what you would pay at 7% interest over a 20, 30-year whatever loan. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't really do the math, and they think to
Yeah.
themselves, oh no, that sounds cheap. Still, no. I'm just going to tell you out loud again, avoid things like balloon rates, balloon interest rates. That hit people a lot in the 2007, 2008, 2009 crash. They were signing on what seemed to be very cheap
Mm-hmm.
interest, but they didn't read the small print, or maybe didn't understand the small print. And those rates could fluctuate based on the market. And then all of a sudden, your nice 1.5 was at 3. And that's a heck of a different mortgage payment than just 1% or 1.5 or 2%, 2.5. So these things are things you got to be educating yourself about. That was one of the biggest things we heard a lot, that folks were not, as informed, let's say.
Mm.
I do believe there was some things the banks was doing. I'm not gonna go back, but I think there was some things people was giving people high five loans, not checking out their actual income. Because remember, I tell people, house is like anything that could go wrong will go wrong, Orlando. Once you in a house,
Right.
stuff gonna need fixing, right?
It
It's
will.
not just your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
It is now, oh, the roof, oh, the AC, oh no, there's the leak, oh no, this. Like it's just automatic. Something is gonna be
Right.
wrong. And no matter who you are, no matter what you do for a living, it's gonna be, some kind of pressure
Right.
on your income. So, and there
And,
were unexpected pressures are even more, daunting sometimes. So you really got to think about this. I want to ask you about before we get into this multiple buyer scenario. I want to acknowledge,
mm-hmm.
yes, I'm so waiting patiently. I hear you. Sunbreeze DL on the super chat. Thank you, sisters. They're always bringing the heat. Hit the like button, y'all. I appreciate you, my brother. So, why do we have a market where it's so few houses and so many buyers? Can you explain kind of what's going on?
Yeah, especially during the pandemic, we had there was so much money flowing in from the government when they were doing the stimulus checks and whatnot, and then compound that with low interest rates, everybody can flood into the market. So people have the down payment money to get into the market, and then the interest rates are so low that it allows more, like I just said, more people to pour in. And so that's the reason why you start seeing multiple offers, because everyone thought to themselves, this is the best time. If I don't get in now, I won't
I
be able
mean,
to get
never.
in at any time. Right. I never will get
Listen,
in.
them
Right.
stimulus checks, I'm still kind of like, I feel two kind of ways about it because I do believe it ended up causing inflation to a certain
Oh
extent.
yeah, for
I'm not
sure.
an economist. I have an undergrad in finance. You're welcome. But I'm like, but it tried to keep people who could not go to work out of poverty. I get the mindset, but
Mm-hmm.
the domino effect of all this money, people at home, there was just so much that we could buy. Hence, products weren't flowing, and therefore the prices
Mm-hmm.
are continuing to go up. So you have a log jam. People weren't at work. You couldn't get the goods from
Right.
China and everywhere else, and then you have all this money, pent up demand. So people
Right.
going now spending. Oh, we got money now, y'all. We got child tax credit money. We got
Yes.
stimulus. We got unemployment. Oh,
Unemployment. Mm-hmm.
y'all didn't want to go back to work, do you? Did you not? Are you still at home? I'm not judging. But now it's like again, now we're suffering a little bit because now there was a what should I say? They said the inventory, I think that's the word. The housing
Mm.
inventory was low. And
Yes.
now you have all
It's
these
low.
wonderful buyers. So everybody wanted to get a piece of the action. And now the prices were skyrocketing. So can you tell us, some people were calling it a seller's market versus when it's a
Mm-hmm.
buyer's market. Can you
A
define those
buyer's market.
terms for us? Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So a seller's market is what it was previously. It's going towards a buyer's market, but that's when the seller can basically tell you exactly what they want and you're going to give it to them, right? So a seller can say, I've got 10 people putting in an offer on this, and who am I going to choose? I'm going to choose the person that's going to give me $20,000 over, and I don't want any inspections done on the house. And people were
Mm.
taking that. So that's a seller's market. You can call the shots, whatever you want to do, and people are going to take it. A buyer's market is what we're going to right now, where sellers are like, oh no, I should have sold 6 months ago because now I'm
Mm.
losing my leverage, and now
Hmm.
prices I have to cut, I have to get inspections, I have to do appraisals, I have to do what quote unquote is regular now versus what 6 months ago where was not regular at all.
Hey, my goodness. So now people are both sides are like, we waited too long. We should have sold. We should have done this. It's like a crazy thing. You don't know. I feel like the pendulum is swinging so quickly. And once you are, I don't know. I mean, I had friend girls who are almost done paying off their house.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, girl, they offer me, say they spent maybe 250, 300. They were getting
Mm-hmm.
offered close to 500,000, all this
Oh
equity
wow.
built up, all this up. And but I kept saying, if you leave your house, where you gonna live? Are you gonna start renting? Like that was the big thing. I have a couple of them. They live in, I think, decent, neighborhoods. And they kept thinking, I want to go west. That's with us. We want to go west. You're gonna be in the Everglades, but you got more land. And I don't know,
Right.
the alligator's gonna be in your backyard. Okay, fine. But everybody wants to live west or
Mm.
or a lot of people are moving north too. I've had friend girls who are former paralegals in firms I've worked at that are saying, I can't afford Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, or Miami, and they going up to
Mm-hmm.
like a place named Fort Pierce, or what's a little bit north. I can't think of this other one. It'll come to me randomly. But we used to think of those as like small town. I wouldn't say podunk, but other
Rural.
people might say, yeah,
Rural.
more rural and
Mm-hmm.
less, it's not Miami. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
people are moving
yeah.
up there like in droves. People are moving in.
Yeah.
Some are even commuting an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours back down south to come to work. So yeah, it's a lot of changes happening. Shout out to the world class. How are you, Noble? Good to see you. Good to see you, Sandy P. Law. Thank you. Eric, welcome, says that I hear sellers are buying down the rate for buyers, or I think cutting maybe their rates. Let me repeat
Yeah,
that
they're
for me. Mr. Eric, I'm not sure if I follow. You know what that
no,
means?
no. I know. Yeah, I know what it means.
Tell me what
He
that means
he's
to me.
saying he's saying that it's a buyer's market and sellers are now giving concessions to
Oh,
to
yes,
to
yes, yes.
buyers. Hmm.
Yes, Miss AKA Lady agrees. Maintaining a home is hella expensive. Anyone who owns a home gets my respect. It ain't for the faint of heart. Again, it's more for the long run. It's also for investing. So it depends
Yeah.
on what your purpose is. You got to be very careful when you step out there, and you got to look at why. And it's not supposed to be keeping up with the Joneses. It's not supposed to be because everybody else told me that's what I'm supposed to be doing and whatnot, whatnot. Because though you see that those graphs, that fluctuation, so far it's always been quote up, but it goes down.
Mm.
It goes down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It
I
definitely does.
hated to bring back up the 2007, 8, 9 bubble, Great Recession. But I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, a lot of my friend girls, I was trying to run them down. I was like, okay, everybody buy a house, I got to get it. Thank God I didn't, because many of them bought at the peak and then it
Mm-hmm.
immediately tanked and they were what they call underwater. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so it's underwater is basically when your equity so you paid $300,000 for a home, and then all of a sudden, your equity in your property drops to 250. So now you're upside down or underwater. So you're 50,000 under the table basically, and now you have to wait for multiple years to regain that equity,
Yeah,
that
you got to sit on it.
appreciation. Yeah, you got
Because
to
all
sit
of a
on it.
sudden, I mean, I had homegirls get buying what were rental properties converted to condos, and all of a
Mm.
sudden it was like boom, slapped her in the
Condos are the
face.
worst.
I
They're
was
the
just like, it's
worst.
so much. Yeah, people think again because they're more affordable. I don't want a
Mhm.
HOA. That's just me personal.
Mhm.
Because especially in Florida, they got a lot of rights out here in Florida. The HOAs
Mm.
do, homeowners association. Miss AKA Lady says if you purchased at the top of the pandemic, then you were good to go. Equity shot through the roof. She also added, "Don't think Orlando is no sweet dream because there's a lot." The city of Orlando is a sweet dream because it's like much more expensive now because people are
Mm.
flocking there. Shout out to my Puerto Ricans. It's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Orlando now
Mm.
because everybody could afford, even if you were, at the bottom of the economic level in terms of like your job, you still could afford a beautiful home in Orlando. Two people could afford a good
Mm.
home. So now it's like switching. But again, for us down south, we think, oh my gosh, this is cheap. So we were also creating the same problem for them that the Northeastern folks who are coming down are creating for us. You got cash strapped buyers looking at homes down here, oh, on the water, and it's beautiful in the sunshine. And it's like, oh, that's cheap. And we're looking at like, oh my gosh, no. So yeah, no, I don't want to mean podunk. I don't want to say podunk, but you know the terminology. Hey, Andre. Hey, salute, Gail at night in the building. Hey, Great Bill in the building. I didn't even
Hey,
see him.
Gail.
Nice to see you. World Class Links, DL. Really want to know. And Doug. Shout out to everybody. I see a super chat. I'm sorry. I hope I get to it. We have Mr. Orlando Minor in the building, real estate advisor, Sir Ashley. Welcome to both of you. Excited to see this. Suzette and Orlando, great collab. I want my vision back. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I thank him for making time tonight. His email's in the chat. Thank you, Gail. Follow him on social media. Thanks, guys. And make sure you like his channel, subscribe, and like to the show as well. Oh, Andrew, I'm here skipping over. Here we go. Thank
Hey.
you. Andrew, one of my Patreon members, thank you always for supporting, says, I feel that buying depends on where you live. what your rental costs are, and remember that some sales costs are dropping too. Now, think about that. A lot of people don't realize there are costs both on the buyer, because we think about mostly the buyer's costs, but there are sales costs.
Mm-hmm.
Selling your property, you have to spend money to sell it. Can
Yes,
you
you
talk
do.
about what he's talking about when it comes to selling, developing certain costs around that? What are some of the sales costs? Thank you. He says, I'm a realtor in NYC. You have to also look at how you work and use the space to your benefit. That's another thing. Some people, I think, bought too much house,
Right.
and spent a premium because they want to look good on your socials. And I got the pool, but do you don't swim and all this other stuff. But talk about some of the costs to selling a home.
Yeah, you obviously you pay your real estate agent, you pay that commission, then you pay when you go through title, you pay a bigger sum than a buyer for sure in that, and so all of those costs, it is a hefty sum that you're paying when compared to the buyer. So you have to be ready for that, and most sellers kind of built that into the sales price. So you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, there are a lot of programs, though. I know, for example, in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to my homeboy. He's with the Miami-Dade. I think it's called like the Housing Trust. I should get it right. I'm gonna
Mm.
have them on actually on Saturday. And Orlando, they were telling me they have programs where it can provide up to 15,000 in down payment assistance, and
Oh
they can
wow.
be stacked. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like they're going to charge you or prevent you in case you get other
Mm-hmm.
programs and qualify for other programs. So are you seeing this as still, like, I don't know, in the Midwest, do you guys have good down payment assistance and other kind of costs?
At one point, we really did have that, but then I started seeing money running out of those programs, and
Hmm.
you start seeing individuals say, "Look, we only have, this month," and it because there was a big rush to to buy
Yeah.
homes and whatnot, so they were just running out of money. I don't know where it is now, but I do know that it was slim pickings at one
Yeah,
point.
yeah. People were jumping on it here. We still have programs that are pretty, check with your city, guys, wherever you live,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever your municipal entity is, your county, your town, your parish,
Right.
your city, and even your state. There are going to be programs that offer you down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, all kinds of things if you are in that market, as he's saying here. Thank you, Andrew. Depends on where you
Mm-hmm.
live. Now, like I say, I keep
It
staring.
does.
I'm like, God, Miami gonna have me like, it's you can't compare, because what I could get for a house in Atlanta, it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like, why would I do that here? Even though I think an Airbnb investment would be wonderful, I'm like, well, people gonna Airbnb right at ATL, won't they? So, am I gonna, pay triple, pay double, to be down here? And it's kind of strange, So the consideration
Mm.
is your personal finances, your job situation, or your income, how stable it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
What market you live in, you want to think about that. How long? Let's talk about how long you're going to be staying there. Shout out to Von Dale. I see you in the back. What's good? I bring you up in a second. I've dropped a link. If you have questions for Mr. Orlando Minor, now is the time, y'all. He's a real estate lender, mortgage lender, as well as a real estate, should I say, investor, excuse me. And
Yes.
he's been doing this for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful that he's here offering some of his expertise and what you want to think about if you are planning to rent or buy, or whether you should stay put. People nervous, people looking at it, looking around at some of the, some of that PPP money y'all was using. I'm not gonna tell. I'm not gonna tell, because y'all wasn't using that PPP, were you? I hope you wasn't using that PPP. A
Nah.
lot of people was doing some not so
Yeah.
above board things, and got people, paying
You had
attention to the
JT out here,
tone.
huh?
Yeah, hello. I ain't pocket watching, but this is real. But shout out
Where
to
you
Mr.
at?
Orlando Minor. Go to his channel, y'all. Subscribe. Everyone, please go look at his content, because, again, we're talking about a serious topic. On a serious note, again, a lot of folks looking at their rent payment and saying, dang, it would be cheaper for me to buy. But again, the market is shifting. As
Well,
he was saying, the Fed, the entity in the U.S. government that controls monetary policy. Y'all think Biden can do it. It's not really Biden. It's who he puts in charge of these big financial institutions. So whether, I think, what is it, Jerome Powell, I think, is the head of it
Right.
still. These people say, we got to cool off this economy. We're going to raise the interest rates. And when they do the interest rates for lending on banks going to pass that on to you. And so people start getting a little bit more tempered in their buying. It's not so fast now. So they're trying to cool inflation. In doing so, the prices of homes are starting to go up. So we got to look at what is happening. Go ahead, sir.
And one thing I want to include is that a lot of times when people are trying to buy homes, I don't think they look at things like taxes that you're going to have to pay on the property. You're going to have to pay that increased value. You're going to have to pay that in taxes to whatever city that you live in. You have to pay insurance. If you looked at the last 2 years of insurance for homes, they've increased. My own personal home insurance has at least doubled. Right? And then on top of that, you have to think of, if you want to buy any appliances, if you want to get anything fixed, you're going to have to, everything is sky high when it comes to that. Labor shortages, appliances cost more, and they take longer to get. So you're going to have to pay for all of that. Are you willing to take that snowball effect and pay all of that out?
Yeah, I'm telling you, my brother be like, houses suck up your money. Let me bring up some guests. Shout out to us. Who is that in the chat? Real estate. We talking real estate? Yes, Rose. Nice to see you. Rose Thompson Real Estate said there is a Florida statewide program to give you $25,000. See what I'm saying? So they try to incentivize it still. But remember, you're going to spend that right back in them costs, because the costs kind of high right now. But it's at least not money that is not, you got to, first of all, check if you have to repay it. Certain programs require you to live in the home for a certain amount of time and not sell for a certain amount of time. So you got to watch the small print, the fine print on some of these programs. But if you're planning to stay, I saw Andrew wrote, bought a house in 1987, for $200,000 and now worth $1.2 million. Are those days gone? Are people still finding those type of jewels where you could buy and think in 10, 20 years you're going to increase, in value that much, or is that no longer existing?
I can't say it's no longer existing, because watch, someone's gonna go find one and be like, look right there. but
Right?
but I mean, those it seems like those days are somewhat behind us, unless there's just a area that just gets really, really, really built up. I think the place where you will find.
Oh, sorry, Dio, echo. Go ahead.
Okay. I think the place that you will find something like that is, you really have to really follow where the jobs are going. So like
that new headquarters or something.
Like that the Tesla, where Tesla just went, like those type of things. You can see where it builds, takes a community that wasn't built out, and then big jobs come there and build it out. You can kind of see that kind of forming and something like that.
I hear people talk about that. Speaking of Atlanta, Miss AKA Lady says, I had a house in Atlanta. Truthfully, the quantity over quality. Y'all don't be billing with that for straight wood up there. I be seeing a lot of them board houses. That wood don't let, bruh, you go through an Atlanta house, squeak, squeak, squeak. It's a big, beautiful home, but don't let a fire. Jesus. Okay. But the other part of it, listen, no brick. The other part of it is, like, for example, as you talk about trends, Tyler Perry Studios. I know a friend of mine was like, oh, we finna buy right next to Tyler Perry, where he's making his new grandiose studios, because obviously that's going to bring people. Pocket watching with JT. What's up? Orlando is my brother. Personal real estate expert. It's a big deal, y'all. I got pocket watching with JT and Orlando Minor in my show. Is that what we're doing now? I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your generosity. Let me get my brothers up here, Mr. Vondell and Mr. DL Saint, into the convo. Good evening, fellas. How y'all doing? Oh, I muted both of you because I was getting feedback. I didn't know what.
I'm good. And I got a new setup, Suzette, so let me know if it sounds.
You sound good.
Okay.
You hear echo? I think it might be Mondale. Go ahead, Mr. Mondale.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is out.
You got an echo. Come out. I'm gonna drop you down. Come out. See? Is that still?
I'm good.
Is DL?
Is it me?
Are you hearing the echo, guys?
Yeah, I'm hearing that. Yeah.
Y'all gonna have
Yeah,
to come back.
yeah,
I'm not even gonna play like this. I got a big time YouTuber out here, and I'm hearing echoes. Hold on, Vondell. Let me see if it's you again. Go ahead, Vondell.
Um,
Oh,
thank
it's
you.
Ziel. Go ahead. How are
Oh,
mm.
you?
I'm doing very good. Just doing very wonderful
Good.
What are
myself.
your thoughts on the real estate market? Buy, rent, save, hold on. What do you think?
When I think about real estate itself, it's just to stay out of real estate altogether in the first place because of the FOMO and thinking about with the emotions. What they were doing is thinking with their emotions instead of thinking with rationality and not
Mm-hmm.
understanding what real estate or what mortgage really is. Let me tell you what mortgage really is. Mortgage comes from the word mortgage. You know what mortgage means in French, Orlando?
What does
Nope.
it mean?
It means death. That means that you're signing a death warrant when you're getting a mortgage. You're signing a contract 30 to 40 years until you die. That's what mortgage really means. As
So
for
go ahead.
so whew, as to like why is the buyer's market and the sales market? The Federal Reserve if was the one that raised the market that caused the real estate in the first place. So I have not been a fan of the Federal Reserve for a long time. I'm very anti-Federal Reserve, Orlando. Very anti-Federal Reserve.
Okay. So let him respond. So you're saying, well, you look like you at a house right now. Where you live? You in a
I'm
house?
I'm an apartment. I just
Oh, okay.
you make your house and you make your apartment your home and things like
Understand. Okay. So no, I wasn't
Mm.
trying to, I was just trying to make sure we understand. So you're not into purchasing real estate. That's what you're saying?
not unless if you're like investing for yourself, but as a home as to an investment,
Okay.
a home as your own home as an investment. No, I'm not into that. But other people's property, that's what I am for.
Okay.
But
Um,
as to using your house as an ATM, your own ATM,
that's
that's not
dangerous.
being
No, that's
responsible. No,
dangerous.
not
Yeah, yeah,
into
yeah.
that.
Okay. Orlando, you want to respond? Just your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you shouldn't use your house as an investment, right? You should basically. I mean, you have a choice to either you rent or you buy, and if the situation is cheaper for you to buy, then that's what you do. Should you use your house as an ATM? No, you shouldn't. But in this situation, when it comes to the reason why most people buy homes is because most of the time it's cheaper to have a mortgage than it is to rent. And not only on top of that, most people don't want to deal with the increase rent, right? That year over year is going to increase versus buying it's the same price the entire time that you own it.
So I'm gonna say I do hear what you're saying, Vondell. I think it's very case by case specific, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got to look at their own income. Everybody got to look at their own goals. So if you know you want something more stable and you're going to be in a city for a long time or in a specific neighborhood even for a longer time, if you understand that your purpose is to hold it for a while, I think you can consider, again, each person is different and everybody's financial situation is different. But I do think what Orlando has brought up a lot is what we are seeing, a lot now is the changes in rents are making it even difficult to rent. So there are people in, depending on what city you're in, and thank you, Simon Hectic, will look at renting. Like I say, down here, I had a lady come straight, to me, can I sue these people for trying to change my rent? From like it was some craziness, like 1,600 to like 2,500 with I think certain
Can.
cities. I think across Miami they trying to make it so it's 60-day notice at least. But even if they do
Right.
give you 60-day notice, where you gonna get an extra $1,000 from? If that's the type of work you do and your
Right.
income is not gonna allow for it. So it can be
Mm-hmm.
stressful both ways. Honestly, the way the market is right now. Even if it's again Midwest, you can speak to that. Orlando might be real different from
Right.
down here, but here, I mean, people do not play. They will, and we don't have any price controls like a New York where you can only certain places. I don't want to assume. Andrew, educate me whether it's like 5% max or other cities have
Oh yeah,
maximum
yeah.
where the landlord
Rent
cannot.
control.
Yes, rent control. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
that in a lot of our cities down
Yeah.
here. People is it's a free for all, and people are trying to capitalize because they knew people had a lot of money in their pocket from all the stimulus. So they were trying to get that money from when people couldn't pay and now make up for it. So I do think it's a case by case basis. DL, you can come back up. Just fix up your
and
mic,
and
please. But
and I'm on
Simon,
that side.
thank you. Go ahead.
I was saying I'm on that side too because I'm a real estate investor too. So I totally understand
Do
how
you buy and
tenants,
hold? Do you buy and hold
yes,
and rent out
buy
to
and
people?
hold,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
apartment complexes and
Oh wow.
whatnot. So
Wow.
yeah, so I totally understand where tenants will come and say, the rent is being increased at too much because I'm the person that they come to and say, why is my rent getting increased or whatnot? But I think what a lot of
You get cussed
tenants,
out. People be cussing you out.
no, they don't cuss me
You
out.
parking lot.
They cuss the
Hey.
property management out.
I mean, people. I mean, we laugh about it, but it's a serious matter. If you have a
It
family, even if
is.
it's you by
It is.
yourself, that's a lot of
It is.
pressure to try to
It
find a
is.
place that you can now afford. So many
Mm-hmm.
folks get caught between this: don't rent, don't buy, and people will say, "Well, at least if you buy your mortgage, if you have a fixed interest rate."
Right.
As a whole can't change, or it will most likely stay within a very small amounts difference, right? As you pay it off, sometimes the payment even goes less over
Mm-hmm.
long periods of time, right? So you want to think about these things, Vondell, but your point is well taken. Shout out to Simon Hector. Let me first of all say shout out to you, brother. He has been making content now. I've seen him a lot on other people's panels, but I see you making content now. Shout out to you, my brother. Check out Simon Hectic's channel. Drop your link, bro, in the chat so people can find you. I always have a heart for everyone who's starting out. YouTube is not an easy place.
Mm-mm.
Listen, my subscribers be flickering up, flickering down. Sometimes they want to be here, sometimes they don't want to watch. So shout out to we got good amount here live, watching and team replay. I love you. But yeah, there's so much to consider. I hate to make things too broad because it depends on where you live. Vondell, what market are
Mm-hmm.
you in? What state are you in?
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Are you in Midwest
Oh,
too?
okay.
A
Okay,
very Midwestern guy.
okay,
Myself,
cool.
Mm-hmm.
and every day when I look at Miami markets and California, I always say, thank God that I live in the Midwest.
Yes. Y'all
Every
got a lot to deal with now. Y'all got the heat wave, the fire, tornado alley, snow in the winter. Y'all got a lot to
Yeah.
deal with. However, like I've never driven in snow. I don't, like things
Oh,
like
wow.
this. I've seen snow as a Floridian once in my life. Is that
Wow.
terrible? So imagine, I'm
Uh,
like, I'll move up north. I don't know if I can. Atlanta about the furthest I can.
not as far as you
I mean,
go.
I'd have to develop that. My blood got to thicken up because I'm just not used to it. And I'm telling you, that's what
That's
Florida
funny.
will do to you. You make you feel like, okay, well, everybody comes here for paradise. Where am I going? But the opportunities are out there in terms of investment, other places. So you definitely have to
Mm-hmm.
be open. DL, no problem. He said he got a new system. The audio is not, don't worry about it. Come on
Hey.
through. Hey, BTV, nice to have you. Let me bring up before the billions. How you doing?
this,
You brought this guy up here.
Oh, you guys know each other, huh?
Yeah.
How you doing, BTV? Long time no talk.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
been a long time. I'm doing well. Glad to see you and speak with you, Suzette. Shout out to
Oh,
Orlando and
Hey,
Vondale.
what up,
Nice to
man?
meet you.
that's it, Lauren.
oh, Vondell, hold on. Let me drop you down real quick. Let me just. That's okay. Go ahead and take your business. Go ahead, BTV. What's your thoughts on what we are talking about tonight
Yeah, so overall, just like just the overall topic about should you buy a home. Now, I recently bought my home last year,
during
and
the pandemic?
yeah, during the pandemic, yes.
Yes. Oh,
The
wow.
only that's really the only way I was able to save up that money because I was sitting here spending all this money going out to eat and carrying on,
Yes.
going to
Got
work.
those good rates, huh?
Got the good rates. It was like
Mm-hmm.
3%. I was like, oh man,
See,
doing
Gotta
good.
see,
gotta snap
see.
it up. Yeah.
Hmm.
Lead
Yeah,
attorney
so
talking about yes, move to Atlanta. Listen, Lee, I'm happy you're here, brother. He talking
mhm.
about
Hey,
let's
Lee.
go. Gail talking about Atlanta is full lead. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Atlanta is full. I'm like,
Shout
ooh.
out to the big
Mm,
bro, lead
mm.
attorney in the building. Glad you're here watching live. Thank you so much for being here. But as you were saying, go ahead, BTB.
Yeah, I think that I've heard, because my mom's a realtor, and I've heard that now it's switching from like the seller's market to kind of like a buyer's market. Like
Yeah,
the
Right.
inventory is coming
that
back.
quickly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad I went ahead and got it in. While I did.
Yeah.
But the housing prices are so high right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here like, you know, everything going up by over $100,000.
Crazy.
Even in like the hood, right? There was, I actually was, I was walking, and then they were selling like some condos for like $400,000 over there by the Beltline in Atlanta. So,
Hood
which
in
is not
South
the hood,
Florida
but it's
too.
still.
Hood in South Florida too. And we like, I mean, certain neighborhoods where I grew up, I'm like, what are they talking about?
Mhm.
400,000 for what?
Yep,
And
for
But
a
those are the
one
people
first
are
ones that
buying
bedroom.
it.
go.
A
But
one
people are
bedroom.
buying it. Yes, people are buying it. So what about that, Orlando? The people that feel like they missed their chance. A lot of us who, maybe didn't have it during the height of the pandemic have it now, or feeling a little bit better about their job now, or found that
Mm.
second stream of income and got that
Mm-hmm.
money. It feels such a like a you're almost like, should I just do it? Do you do you think that people should hold out for real? For real?
I really do, because so what happens during a recession, right? So if we're going towards a recession, what are the things that happen? We know housing will go down. We know the stocks will go down. We also know that the very first thing that companies do during a recession is fire people,
You're
right?
gone.
So you're
Mhm.
gone, right? So if you go ahead and and make that jump and go ahead and buy an overpriced home, first thing's going to
Mm,
happen is you're going to be underwater. The second
mhm,
thing is you might lose your job.
mm.
So, and then now you end up in a situation where we were in 2008, where you have a home and it has to go into foreclosure, and a wave of foreclosures come because you can't even afford the home anymore, and you let it go.
Yes. And then you put the attorneys back in the business, y'all. We're going back in. We're
Maybe I
going.
should
I
have
was
waited
like,
to ask.
sh- should I get back into this? Isn't that terrible?
Yeah,
But
Orlando.
so you have no regrets. You're very happy, BTB, that you got it at during the pandemic, lower interest rate,
Mm-hmm.
very low interest rate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
would you advise? Was the process very easy for you? Was this, you said this was your first time?
First time, I don't have any
Congrats.
regrets, and
Yes.
yeah, I
Good.
would do it all over again. But I probably should have waited to ask for a raise. But anyway, so I wanted to say this is that the process for me, it was easy until they got to underwriting. Then it just got kind of like so nitpicky. It was ridiculous. But
First of
Yeah, that's
all,
the way
can
it
you explain
goes.
what that means? Because if people have not bought a home before, they gonna get all in your business, y'all. They get all of your, not only your paychecks, I'm talking about your bank statements. Like your
Mhm.
whole life is under Mr. Orlando, Mr. Orlando Miner's scrutiny as he looks at how you spend your money. Because what is this? This
Mhm.
is to see if you are, the word is probably credit worthy,
Mm-hmm.
right? If we give you this big old loan to make this huge investment, how likely are you to pay us back? Now, if you spend all your money at the Dunkin' Donuts, at the Starbucks, eating out every night, they're going to question, now, are you going to pay your mortgage? Or are you going to be at, Fogo de Chao? What is it? Fogo de Chao?
Look at the child, yeah.
And we're not going to be happy if you default, if you stop
Right.
paying us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So they're very tell us about that process for you, BTB, because I'm just trying to
Ooh.
explain so people understand what it means.
Right.
And
So
that's underwriting. Yes.
yes, the underwriting process. Yeah, they are trying to. They're gonna look at every bank statement. Or not, of course not into eternity, but it's gonna be like I think they asked for like a year or something like that. It was like
Mhm.
it was like a long period of time that they asked for, and then they asked for every single bank account that you're gonna be using to buy this home. So if you have multiple bank accounts, you got to get multiple of the bank statements,
Like
which
turn
can
them
all be
over, send them to us. We're going to look at
right.
every line. Yep.
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 And then if you get any gifts, if somebody gives you some money, they will look at that too. And you have to write a letter. Oh yeah, your mom sent you like $50. Something like it has to be
A
cost more than
$5,000
$50.
gift towards a down
Yeah.
payment and whatever. Yeah, they
Right.
have
Right.
every cent
Yep.
that goes into a home purchase has to be accounted for. right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it goes on that closing statement. I'm so familiar with
Yeah.
Yep.
this, talking about how
You ask
money
for
moves in
everything.
and how money moves out and who gets it,
Yeah.
parties, all that good stuff. Orlando, you're the
Investments
expert
too.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I tell people is that do not try to hide or keep away or whatever you're going to try to do. Don't, because I'm guaranteed to see it. Guaranteed to see it.
Mm,
I will see what's on your credit. I will see what's on your tax returns. I'm going to look at every line and be like, oh, what did this say? Or how did this say? And you have to give me the answer.
yes.
So when you give me the answer, at that point, I'll take what you gave me, if it's a letter of explanation or whatever it is, and then I'll decide if you're credit worthy at that point or if there's any exceptions or anything that need to be done. But all the time, I just say, just be honest and tell exactly what happened
Yeah.
for that situation.
If you had a repo, if you had these other
I'm gonna
issues,
find out.
they're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have it
find
on your
out.
paperwork and you're gonna lie. And they're gonna say, but
Mm-hmm.
actually, in 2017, what was this purchase you made from Best Buy that you never really whatever it is? It's very interesting. So I tell people
Yeah.
all the time, stuff follows you. In the American
Mm-hmm.
system, credit is a heck of a thing. They did it on purpose,
Definitely
right?
is.
To make sure that people who are owed money, that's how our capitalistic system kind of has a glue, right? The law and order
Mm-hmm.
part of it is that if you borrow, you're going to have to pay back. And we're going to find you so that you do pay back. And if you don't, you'll be penalized for the next time that you're trying
Mm.
to borrow again. So it's a
Right.
very important process. And as he said, it's very important to be very transparent, candid, and
Mm-hmm.
speak on it. And sometimes that won't prevent you from getting the home. But
No.
lying about it, making it
Will.
seem like they gonna have to dig up stuff? No, just say, oh, actually, I had put my little cousin on my car note. We do that. I had done
Hey,
this for my mom. Them. My mom had taken out a credit card when I was a child. Just saying. I've seen it all. Welcome to Miami. I've seen it all. And some things are out of your control, right? And you have to make sure you're upfront and understanding the process. Yes, Miss AKA Lady says underwriting will have you writing dissertations and
Mm-hmm.
tap dancing to get
yep.
that promissory note, to get that loan, to get that mortgage,
I'm
right?
telling you.
I hear
And then you
you.
had to, and then you had to
Eh,
take a course too. That was another thing I had to do. I
Yeah.
had to take a
yeah.
course in order to, like the first time home buyer course
Oh,
by
to probably get
Mm.
if you're getting down payment assistance
Yeah.
and those things from the county or the
Mhm.
city or the parish, whatever. Sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
make you take a home buying course because people really don't know after they sign the paperwork what this all means. They'd be like, okay, I got a house. Actually, you
Eh,
have to pay taxes every year. Actually,
mm-hmm.
you have to have insurance on your home and your insurance price fluctuates. Actually, you're gonna, all these things that people don't realize. You just hear house and yeah, I got the keys. No, sir, no, ma'am. There's a lot more to it. Go ahead, Orlando.
No, I was just saying that most of the time, even in the underwriting thing, we already have the answers, but since you never stated it, I have to hear it from you. I just can't assume, even though it's right here in my face and on a
Yeah.
report, I have to get it from you, and you have to say, no, this is this, you know?
You really trying to see what they're gonna say. That's what you're really trying to
Yeah,
see.
true, but
Who is they drop a name. Who is Lynette Myers? Who is that? You be like, who is Lynette? I don't know nobody named Lynette. Actually, she was a co-signer for it. It
Mhm.
is very tedious, but you guys, it is something that you
it's
can,
worth
in
it.
fact, conquer, right? Again,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have these things on your credit, does not mean I mean, I know student loans was playing a big part, but that still doesn't mean you cannot get a decent loan, a decent mortgage.
Right.
So a lot of times things that you think are gonna like for me, people talk about entrepreneurship and my money goes up, my money goes down, and I don't know if I'm gonna qualify. Don't take yourself out of the game before you actually know. Speak
True.
to a mortgage broker, speak to a real estate agent where you're looking to purchase if you're going to need a loan and see what they say. Sometimes we count ourselves out before we even in the game, guys. So you got to be very careful not to do that. Professor Cutie Pie says everyone refinanced. That's another thing you can do. Get a new loan for a new rate. Can you explain that real quick, Orlando? What does that mean with refinancing at a lower rate? Of course, rents went up as well. What does refinance
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, so you basically just taking your loan that you currently are already have and refinancing that into another loan. And normally most people do that because they want to get the rate lower.
Yeah.
So at this particular time is not a good time to do that at all because rates are higher.
Right.
Or people do it to pull money out. So if you have some equity in the home and you want to pull a cash out for whatever you want to use it for, then you can do that.
Cool. So BTV, do you have any questions for Orlando, or do you want to share anything more about your experience? And I want to read a few more questions from the chat, y'all. Last call for the panel. But do you have any questions for him, or want to share more about your experience buying your first home?
Yeah, I do. I have a question for Orlando. So, how do you feel about the savings rates going up now? I mean, like I have Ally Bank, and they send me an email almost every day now, talking about the saving rates went up. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that if you are looking to save, then that works out. I mean, how much are they offering? What is the rate right now for that savings?
Right now, it's like I think it's 1.25. Last time I saw.
Yeah. So if like that works if you're putting money into like an emergency savings account or something like that, and that works out for you. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that works out perfectly.
hmm Yeah, and also Orlando. So, I wanted to say this is that the hardest parts to me about
Mm-hmm.
buying a home, number one was actually finding the home to actually put down an offer. That was the hardest part. I swear to God, it was. I was just driving from place to place,
That was during
and
the
then
pandemic, though, right?
that was during the pandemic,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
So that means
actually,
by the time you found a home, offers had already been made and an offer was already accepted, and y'all
yep,
missed out,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Yeah, that was very
yep.
common.
And
Very
Mm-hmm.
actually,
common.
I found a home. It was the house 2 houses down from me. I was like, oh my God, I gotta go ahead and get it. Same day it went up on the market. And it was like 2 hours after they listed it. Immediately got taken up. I was like, dang, y'all didn't even wait like till we saw the place. We were like right in the place, and they had went ahead and
You didn't even get
gave
to
it to
go and
somebody
knock
else.
on the door. Hey, we're
Yep, they
here.
gave it to
Nope, it was
somebody
already
else.
sold. That's people were very much turned off by that and frustrated by that. That you
hmm
would have to really be. How many homes do you think you looked at, BTB, or
Ooh.
even attempted to look at before you found one that you could purchase and that you liked?
Uh, over 20. I say
Oh,
over 20 houses.
Mm.
that's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
yeah,
Wow.
it was a
Over what
lot.
period of time?
I did it for 4 months. No, yeah, it was like 4 or 5 months. I
That's
did.
average. That's a good amount of time. Yeah. Shout out to
Mm.
you, sir, for sharing your experience. Ebony says, I got my school loans discharged. What y'all talking about? I love it.
Hey,
I saw a question from,
that's
I
what's
think it
up.
was Andrew. Hey, good question. How do you guys feel about using hard money? And we'll explain what that means when they say hard money, to acquire an investment property, then rolling it over to a conventional mortgage. All right, y'all want to be technical tonight? Okay. We were going to keep it easy breezy, but this is a great question. Orlando, you want to give a little bit of insight on this? I know this is kind of very
Yeah.
specific. Mhm.
Yeah, so hard money is a term that's used for like private lending. It doesn't require all of the things that you would get have to do in a conventional loan, like tax returns and all the stuff that before the billions was talking about you have to provide. You don't have to provide any of that. You only just look at the property and the cash flow that it brings in, and that's how you underwrite the deal.
I saw this in real estate. I knew
Mm-hmm.
two hard money lenders, and I always thought, is these people gangsters? Like, what these people do to be able to give private loans?
Yeah,
I don't
actually,
want to comment
Orlando.
any further, but I just want to know what you're
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah. No, so they're not. So it's normally companies that, like I said, it's a higher risk loan, which means that you're gonna have to bring down a bigger down payment. So, for example, on an investment property, you may normally bring 20% down, but on a
Mhm.
hard money loan, you bring in 35%.
Yeah.
Right? They will look at your credit and say, oh, okay, let's say you have a 600 credit score, but a conventional loan, you need, a 680. So you bring in more money, you bring in more money, the interest rates are higher. So that's one thing. Interest rates are higher.
Yeah, it's more
And what he's
expensive.
saying is more expensive, and there's points associated with it, upfront percentage that you have to pay the lender. So what is he talking about by turning it into a conventional loan? He's saying taking it from that and then switching over to a quote unquote, what you have, not at that actual interest rate, but what you have before the billions, something a little bit long term. That's what he's saying. And he's asking me do I think that's a good idea? And yeah, it is. But here's the thing with investment properties, the deal works out based on the cash flow. So if the cash flow makes sense, then go ahead and go for it. It's all numbers.
Orlando, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the influx of all of these cash offers coming from specifically California? I'm looking at California right now, and Zillow and all these companies and stuff buying up all these houses. How do you feel about it?
Well, I understand what they're doing. They're trying to so we have inflation going up, and when you purchase an asset like real estate, whatnot, you get away from the inflation. Their money is just rotting in a checking account, and they have to spend it. So that's the reason why they're taking all of this money and dropping it into buying these assets, because it blocks them from the inflation. Inflation is actually good when you own real estate, when you own investment properties. So that's the reason why they're purchasing it. So it's just it is what it is. It's part of the game. So to me, on the lender side and investor side, I totally 100% get it. But I also get it on the other side, where people saying these companies are coming in and taking homes away from us and whatnot. I understand both sides.
I think it's a side of the market. It's a sign of the market when you see companies coming in and swooping in and kind of swooping down and taking up the inventory and buying up all this property from the Midwest to the coast is really interesting. I see Andrew in the back. Y'all want to come up? We're trying to wrap up. Let me see what Andrew got to say. How are you, Andrew?
Hello, how you doing? Happy
Nice
to
to
keep the streak
see
alive,
you.
my dear. Everyone, guys, all love. Orlando,
man.
I'll be bugging you later, Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for real. I might have a little gift for you. We have to send Susie a little drink or a bottle after it, though.
I'll accept it. Thank you.
I have no shame. You give the women the liquor. Yes. No, I like what you guys are speaking about, but like you said before, like I have someone doing a cash deal as we speak. They bought something in Canarsie in Brooklyn, and let me tell you something. They bought it for $600,000 cash. They're gonna fix it up, and I guarantee it will sell for $859,000. And it's just like Brooklyn, New York City is an amalgam. It's like Brooklyn in particular, when other parts of New York were decreasing, Brooklyn is appreciating. The worst parts of East New York, you go down there, they got that 5-10 year plan going on. Oh, we'll put in new schools. We'll put in these modular homes and make it look pretty. And so what happens is, guess who's moving to all the train stations? Everyone from out of town and the yuppies. And there's certain type of people where I'm not going to go there. I don't want you to be demonetized. We'll go to the worst of the worst and live there. You know, those are factors that was hard to take in. Like,
well, they'll tell you that it's a part of the kind of re-gentrification model. They'll send young hipsters, let's say, and coming in, and it's, even not too far from here, Midtown Miami, what is now known as Wynwood, is Little Haiti. Little Haiti, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But they want to encroach on Little Haiti because Little Haiti is the highest elevation here in Miami.
See?
Where the Black people live is where we're going to actually survive any type of global warming. So we are on the best land, but they're slowly trying to make it an Art Deco district. Start spray painting art. Before y'all was arresting spray painters, now it's art.
Yeah.
And slowly encroaching a little bit more high rise here, nice restaurant there, cool Wynwood walls there. And it's a formula that's happened all over the United States. So no, I hear what you're saying. In Brooklyn, I'm telling you, I remember being afraid as a child visiting family in Brooklyn. I remember being like, oh my God, why do we have to go to New York? And now when I see, young white women hanging out with head wraps and whatnot, I'm like, this is like almost like a Twilight Zone moment. Nothing wrong with you being in Brooklyn, but I'm just saying it's a 20-year. Like, we see short term. There are people that see, especially in this country, 10, 20, 30, 40-year trends and are trying to sustain family wealth in these cycles. So,
but,
people got to make money.
You see, but Suzette, if they go back to some of your past videos, they'll understand the importance of estate planning and such.
The creation of generational wealth. Thank
You know,
you. We've had some great
you know,
shows.
shameless plug, but it's the truth. I mean, that's like I said, people. I've actually posted it on my business page to people to watch that with the estate planning and the YouTube. You know,
Listen,
Yeah.
I'll say it
CDB
So
publicly.
Law,
important.
go back and watch some of the shows. We should be charging you for it. I'm sorry.
No. You know what's funny is if you made, I want when I get my thing. I didn't get my thing started, but Suzette, I have a cash deal that's going on now. I have a conventional purchase for $800K that's going on. I have a condo going on with a co-op, and it's a nightmare doing the paperwork. So you know that paper, they ask for everything. But I'm lucky one of the people in there doesn't have a bank account. They get paid from the city and they just pull it out. They don't have to. They have no overhead debts. They only have 2 bills to their name, so their credit is technically immaculate. But they're not even on the
Or
purchase.
scary. Who only has 2 bills?
Well, let me explain something to you. Yeah, I'd mind do them things. You know how we do? We have family, have assets. We have things. You know what I mean?
It's one of them where all the stuff is in everybody else's name. Okay, got it.
No. Well, we know reasons why, but we let that go.
Got it. Okay. We're going to have it legit on paper, though. I only got 2 bills. I live here.
Legal,
and
but you know how it is.
paid, and I know what it's
My word is living trust. I have no shame on it. I have a subchapter S corporation. Because why? Because when I get my money, I want to pay as little as possible. I am a capitalist and I'm cheap as anything. So I have no shame in it. I get used coupon for everything. I don't care if it's Coach bag, I use a coupon.
One thing you're gonna do is hustle. Like this is the other thing. I'm like, should we all be getting real estate license? Like, what's going on?
Well, you know what's funny? Listen, you're the law, so you know what you could do.
Yeah.
Like I have to send you a closing. That wouldn't matter. Just knock it out the box.
No, listen. Go ahead.
My quick question is because you guys especially, because I see what you're doing. How do you feel about, and this includes you, Suzette, because I know how you handle this, about families that are competent coming together to purchase multifamilies for a couple of years, like a 5-7 year plan, and then rolling out their portion of equity, which is agreed to by contract, to go to collateral, use that money as a down payment to purchase another asset for themselves down the line. Like if 3 family members buy 3 family, you put it in contract, it's a little cheaper, and you stack your money because other cultures are doing it. Right across the street, they bought.
You gotta have some trustworthy partners.
Yeah.
I don't be liking to do business with everybody because I understand what you're saying. It works when it works.
Yeah, well, certain cultures do it. That's when I go across the street. You got the son, the oldest with their wife. You have someone else there, and they have a
nice duplex. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they did that in the railroad house, and guess what happens when the son's ready to move? They'll give them a portion of equity.
Seen it in Chicago. I have a cousin that lived there. What is going on? Who is it? Ryder, show me your face. We can't bring you up until I see your face. Whoever is Ryder, please. The family lives. I mean, Chicago has a lot of different ethnic communities, but like in the German side, I mean, grandma, uncles, the cousins, and everybody live in one big, unit, so to speak.
Suzette, I got another thing for you too. Yes. I had a situation where I had some.
Before you get there, let me have Mr. Minor comment on what you just asked. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, I agree with that. I definitely think that if you can do that, but I think the biggest thing is you just got to have like Suzette said, the trust portion of it. And is that going to really work out? I mean, in practice, it sounds like, oh yeah, we can do it. But in reality, how does that really look? Right.
Somebody, wife want them to buy them a new car. They can't pay this month. Y'all got me. I could see it going a lot of ways. I'm just seeing so much in life. But if the people are real and the people are able to be, they're real about their business, then it would be beautiful. But I see so many people kind of mess up in terms of doing business with family. It hurts. Yeah. And then you can't, it's your family and all that. What was your second point? And then I'm going to get to some questions in the chat.
Yeah, this is real quick because I know you guys dabble with this. I dealt with the issue too, where we had some super friendly tenants, if you want to say all of that didn't want to make their payments after you purchase the property. Like sometimes you have holdovers that stay there. And let me tell you something. No, what's funny? They got the house for $500,000. It could convert to a 2-family in Brooklyn. But the what I had to do with one of those people, I recorded the incident, and it was very interesting.
You talking about people who do not want to get out of the home?
Yeah, and it was funny because they didn't pay the rent. So you get the attorneys to do what they have to do. You guys, oh, it's crazy. In New York, it's a nightmare because it is a tenant-friendly state.
I was about to say, y'all, the tenant got a lot of rights. Here too,
Oh,
we have
yeah.
to go through certain processes and stuff. But
No,
yeah,
but let me tell you something. The one guy, they had a chubby, rotund neighbor that came across the street from me, like he's telling me I'm from Brownsville. So the little rotund one, I have it on tape too. It's very funny.
not the rotund.
Corpulent, obese, whatever you want to call it. I have a lot of words. I have a great lexicon for him. But it's just, and what I did just for him to bother me? He doesn't know me. The woman went to me and said, "Oh, him? I'm gonna tell the mayor. I'm gonna tell everything else." But I said, "That's funny. I'm in the Lions Club and I was having dinner with the mayor the night before. So you're telling me about someone's gonna know something when I had dinner with them." Oh, my
hold
stuff
on now, hold on. Okay, this is the people trying to be nicer than you. I can imagine the frustration of it.
No, but no, the thing is, it's reality of investment properties, because in this market era, you have the risk of people not paying their rents. So you have to decide whether you want to take someone that might be on a public program,
right,
and have the rent offset. But the question is, do you want to live in the asset? Do you treat it as just an investment property, or do you take on some of these people with that risk, but they'll have the rent paid for, or do you go conventional with regular people? How do you guys take, in this case, what would you do if you're investing in New York? I want to know what you guys think, and you from a legal perspective.
Go ahead.
See, my issue with New York is the rent control. That's my issue with New York, and the rent control kind of stops you from.
Actually,
this is my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. It makes it. You shouldn't be a slumlord, but it feels like the rent control pushes more slumlords to be a slumlord than it does actually helping. Because if someone stays there and they're not paying market rent, they can stay there forever, and you can only increase it by 5% or whatever it is. And what if you have to fix the roof, or taxes go up, or whatever? You're still stuck paying that same. You have to pay the full tax, brunt, but they still get to pay. They only get to pay the 5% extra. So I don't know, man. That's a market that I'm just kind of like. Me personally, I would not be in a rent control investment area.
Only people I know about that in New York are the long-time investors, the people who came. My family that came there 20 years ago, 25 years ago. They doing well. They got land off of Far Rockaway and those places. Those are $1 million homes now.
Yep.
So even
Orlando.
I have family that are like, they're young adults. They're in their 20s, 30s, but they haven't moved. They just kind of convert the basement, because it doesn't make sense for them to go to Brooklyn and rent when they got, they're sitting on $1 million homes out here, out there. So yeah, I don't know. Again, the laws are so different in New York. I don't know how, we can get tenants out here. It's a process, but we can get them out. They're not going to sit in your house forever and ever, even though it is annoying that you're still paying the mortgage while you are trying to get them out of your house. But it's a risk, I think, no matter where you are across the country, that every land owner or landlord takes, right? This is why you have to do your due diligence before you let people come in. You want to look at their credit history. You want to make sure if they're on a government program, obviously that can be a benefit. But I think, again, the credit worthiness of the person still counts, because you don't want people that's going to come in and mash up your house. And I've seen some crazy stuff where people have totally disrespected the landlord and left and talking about broke everything. And I was like, gosh, now you're going to have to get the money for that, get the money. It's a headache. So you can't predict what people are going to do, which is the unfortunate part, but you can try to do the best diligence that you can to make sure, you check their credit score, check their rental history, call some references, see, who know about them, because it's hard to know what people will do.
No more than 2 or 3 family house you buy. That's the way it is in New York, because it doesn't fall under those guidelines. Then you're safe, And you always want to make sure you never out the basement, even though people do on the side. You want to keep control of the units in the building, like the heater, the hot water. So you keep that open for yourself. As a landlord, you keep it.
And there's a lot of different rules, because we don't have heaters, we don't have stuff. So even my cousins in like Chicago, they're telling me about they rented a place, but this type of heating bill is different or something goes in the rent or something. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mm,
Don't ask me nothing about that. I don't do that in Florida. Those are not costs that I'm used to, and I
No,
don't understand how they work in terms of y'all's rent. You got to find an attorney down there.
right.
Everybody think you know everything about every law across the country. I'm just like,
no,
no. When it
no.
comes
Well,
to those
thank
cold
God
water
for single
places,
net, double net, and triple net leases. You have to
mm,
you have to go plan ahead with anything you do. You have to plan in every 6 weeks. There's an inspection of the premises.
you
You
got
want
to
to
have
make
some
sure.
money saved up
No,
for
you
stuff
don't. In
for
fact,
rainy
if
day
you
and
can
things that
avoid it,
happen.
collect no profit for the first 6 months to a year off the property. Let it
Yeah,
go into the bank.
yeah.
Treat it as if it's paying for itself and let it sit in the bank. Then you have
Okay,
your reward chest set up. That's what
yeah.
it was. My family bought an asset, sent me to
Yeah,
school. That's what it did. It makes
yeah.
sense. But you can't spend it willy nilly. That's the truth.
No.
Yeah, can I ask a quick question to
Yeah, and
Orlando?
Andrew, I'm gonna again. We're running out of time. We got about 10 minutes. You have so much wisdom. Thank you so much for coming up,
I
Andrew. I
appreciate it,
appreciate
man.
you as always.
Take care,
Um,
sis. Bye,
yes, all
guys.
right. You take care of yourself.
Smooth
BTV,
answer.
your question. I'm gonna ask a couple more questions in the chat, and then he gotta go, y'all. So go ahead,
Yes.
BTV.
Sorry. I just wanted to answer real quick because he brought up
Yeah.
the rent control, and I wanted to kind of ask what other incentives would you have, despite it being a rent control market in New York specifically.
You,
What incentives would you have to go with doing this investment of buying rental
in New
homes?
York,
The
Yes.
appreciation of the
it,
property.
uh, if I was gonna buy a property in New York and I knew there was rent control there, it would it's the price. But unfortunately, with New York, everything is so expensive there. So the people who are winning in New York are landlords who's owned the property for 20 years. And that property has now appreciated to millions and millions and millions of dollars. The person who takes it over, right, takes it over, because you got to remember the rent is still going to be the same. It transfers over to the new owner. I'm going to be the loser in that. And unless the seller is willing to give me a really good discount so it can make sense, then I could see it then. But even then, it may be hard to do because because you may get a discount on it, but what's going to happen in the future? I'm gonna be stuck here, and the rules. How hard is it to kick someone out in New York? Hard, very hard. So I don't know. I think I would just stay out of that whole market, to be honest with you. I'm more risk averse than just taking a chance.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it,
So
Orlando. Thank you so much,
thanks,
Suzette,
Thank
for
man.
having
you,
me up.
BTV. I appreciate you
Absolutely.
coming through, and congrats on your purchase. That's a big deal.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for sharing some of the ins and outs of what you went through. All right, I'll see you soon.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to Before the Billions. Check out his channel, y'all. We're wrapping up. No more coming up, please. Hit the like button. We're doing work over here. Support, like, comment, and share. All right, we're doing work over here. We hope you're enjoying. I'm going to ask a few more questions from the chat and we'll wrap it up. So I saw, and we can just kind of make this a speed round.
Yeah,
Let
no
me see,
problem.
let me see, let me see. All right, how far back do I go? Um, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I got, I get the chat backed up a little bit. So let's see. Links, you had a couple questions I was trying to, so let me just go through it. Wish my pops kept that brownstone he had on Eastern Parkway back in the day. Very bad experience with the renters. My goodness.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
tough. Sometimes the life of a landlord, you can get some bad people in your stuff and it can be a headache and you wish
Mm,
you never do it again and you sell the property. But if you get the right people, reliable, pay on time, not crazy, it can be a joy too.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
let me see. I saw a question from you, Links, and now I can't find it, of course. That is what we originally did. Pops moved to the UK from Jamaica in the 40s. Whoa, and bought this first
Mm,
house. Then brought his fam up to live in it and sold it to them and then bought the next. That's fantastic. Talk about
it's awesome.
legacy. We just did a show on building a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Final questions, guys. Facts. Says Quincy, nice to see you. Because the neighbors have been terrible, I could write a horror story. Oh my God. Guys, this is not uncommon. We know sometimes people can act up. And it can be very, very discouraging. Perry Unlikely in the building. Log one. My brother. How to Keep a
Hey,
Wife
Perry.
Happy was his show title here on the SuzetteSpeaks show. He did a wonderful show with me. I think it's been a while now, Perry. But good to see you, brother. He says, I'm gearing up to add another 4 to 8 plex. Wow, good for you.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
for
about
you
to get
investing.
a tenplex, a ten unit, Perry.
Oh,
So
wow, that's
yeah.
fantastic. Simon Hectic, I told you the back is closed, but now you want to come up. Y'all know y'all could do this to me, right? I'm trying to give my guests and respect my guests' time. Get them out here on. Listen, Simon, only because it's you and you calling from UK. How are you?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good to have you. Good to see you. I see you've been a busy bee over on your channel. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good movement, sir. Good. It's hard to get started, so I'm proud of you. Keep it going.
Definitely
Keep it
is.
going. So,
Well, yeah. I
tell
mean,
us about UK.
I don't know. I just thought like the women deserve the hot summer after the pandemic because we're just all locked up and stuff. So, um,
Ah, so
it,
you
you
got good
know,
topics. I see. Or is the market? First of all, you're in London, right?
mhm.
The market over there is crazy expensive,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and
yes.
you got all that Russian money. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to
So-
Slava Ukraine.
so-
Long live
yeah.
Ukraine. But okay, a lot
Mm,
of uh, foreign investment came to London.
yes.
Let's say like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
those prices, I don't think anybody normal can just buy a house there anymore. Or is that still possible?
You speak the truth.
I mean, I got cousins
I'm
over there
scratching my
too. It's
desk. I'm like,
crazy.
okay, cool, yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. You can't just come over here and just buy shit. And
No, it's quite
so
expensive. Quite
it,
London, especially.
listen, yeah. So unless you're sort of entrenched and you understand what's going on over here, that's not
Mm.
happening. So I'm sort of interested in real estate over there based on
Mm.
that factor because I sort
You
of
could definitely your money. I think pound is stronger than a dollar, so I
mhm,
think it would go a lot further, especially if you're looking in certain places that are trendy, or trending, as we spoke about. That may not be hot right now, but
Right.
slowly but surely, people. That's what happens. I think, especially from again markets like South Florida, people
mhm,
who bought in the 70s and 80s, sitting on again triple their money, right, if not
Right.
more, and they have sold. A lot of them are selling, and moving to these small cities in the Midwest, or even outside of Denver or Arizona. I hear a
Mm.
lot of people going to like Tennessee and some of these
mm,
Yeah.
places that are
Tennessee.
now
Yeah.
much
Nashville is
cheaper.
huge.
Nashville is like that's a market that you might want to
Mm-hmm.
do research on,
Huge. Super hot.
because again, brand new houses that are cheap. I don't know again if it's
Mm-hmm.
in Tornado Alley. Sorry,
I'm just gonna put this out there, right?
yeah.
There's not many women that can speak like Suzette speaks.
Oh, you're very kind.
Like I
Thank
want a woman in my life like that will turn around and tell me how I could place my investments, what I could do, like with what I'm moving with, um,
Mm-hmm.
and what the market is looking like because it's like that. That's
No, you
far and
gotta
few
think
between.
ahead, man.
Yeah, he's laughing. Orlando's laughing because he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The woman
Yeah.
will come into your life and give. It's
yeah. Well,
mm,
it's interesting. Again, I'm interested in this kind of stuff. What to do with your money in America is getting, it's a little bit more complex. It's not as easy as
mm,
get your GI Bill, get your loan, buy it, and sit on a house. That was
Yeah.
what made the middle class from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, even to the
Right.
80s. But
yeah.
now the markets have changed, the job markets have changed, the housing
Mm-hmm.
markets have changed. So much about what was a comfortable living has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have to be much more creative. We have to understand a little bit more different types of investments. So
Okay.
it's not
Yeah.
as cut and dry as it was when our parents were like, okay, we're married, we got two incomes. Sometimes one could have done the mortgage by
Mm-hmm.
themselves. But now it's like everything is turned on its head and it's so much more expensive.
It
So
is.
it's a challenge, especially as a single person. Even you're like, can I invest? Do I want that other, added pressure? Okay, I'm sure I'm gonna flip this, but things can happen. I may have to hold this for a little longer. Can I afford to do that? All kinds of stuff come into
Mm.
play. But it's not like we should be afraid of the real estate market. We really should try to understand it more. Not many of us will master it like Mr. Miner here. And again, depends on where you live. It can be a very good tool, and you
Yes.
save up. You get the first time home buyer incentives and things like this, or you go in as an investor and you just try your best, make sure you have your plan or a
You have to
mentor.
have it.
Yeah,
Right.
and figure out how long am I going to be able to hold this flip before it flips and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's room over here, brother. There's room over here.
Real beautiful to see, man.
Aw.
So,
Well, tell people real quick what you got going on over here on your channel.
we're just chopping it out, man. I got some people.
I love it. He came all shaved and well coiffed today. And now he got his show. He all powdered and prepped. I love it. I love it a lot.
Listen,
But I'm proud of you.
I'm
Stepping
from
out there
London,
is
but
tough.
I'm internationally connected. That's
Well,
facts.
here we
And
are.
we are,
Facts.
and we should be. And we can't be sort of limiting ourselves to our corners. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So like, that's what it's about. Especially like when that whole thing took place 2 years ago, that made us feel like that. That was just like we don't need to be like that. Do you get what I'm saying? We're skilled, we're professionals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've done our work. We've done our work, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It's time for us to
don't
eat.
let
It's our
anyone
turn.
else tell you anything
Yeah.
else.
It's time.
Because
It's our turn. I believe
so
that.
Mm-hmm.
that's why I bounce with people like Suzette, because like, wow, she's amazing. You get
You're
what I'm
so
saying?
sweet. Listen, don't be coming
That's
over here
awesome.
making me blush. Salute
Get the
to
fuck
the
out of
intentional millionaire.
Oh.
One more question from Links, and we're going to wrap up. Links asked, Suzette, I was asking Orlando if he's seeing housing bubble 2.0, the same thing, the market crash in 07, 08, 09, with the looming recession depression. Now, I'll get in it then. If I'm not praying for that. But then I'll be able to say, I can get investment property and not feel stressed. It's investment property down here anyway. What do you think? Is it going to come with this pending recession? Pocket Watching with JT did a wonderful show with me on it. Do you think it's going to, I don't know if South Florida house is going to go back down. We keep praying for it, and I don't think, even if it goes down, it's going to go down like a little bit. What you think?
Yeah, I know we're gonna have a recession. Like, there's definitely, we've went too far, continuously going up and up and up and up. We're definitely gonna have a recession. Now, will the recession be like a '08 recession where everything gets cut in half or more? I don't really know, but there will be some drop in prices when it comes to houses. Florida is the number one place that I always look at to figure out exactly what's going on. Miami, especially. Miami
We're
is the
so
one that
special.
gets hit. You guys get hit the hardest, especially your
Yeah.
condo market. I mean, your condo market gets cut in half every recession.
Because people come down here thinking it's going to be easy to make ends. And what they don't realize is we are one of the most lowest paying states ever. We don't pay, for example, our service workers. We don't pay our educators well. Teachers' salaries, I don't know if we touch 50,000 here. You know what I'm saying? So people I'm talking about firefighters, policemen, what we call workforce housing. I've sat on boards with this, studied this, and I'm like, this is so sad. People who are making decent career choices can't afford to live where they work. And this has been an ongoing issue. Again, we have a limited supply. We've built out almost to the Everglades. And now they're talking about building up like a New York City, right? And we've had we have our high rises and whatnot, but they're like, again, the demand versus the supply is what is driving up our pricing. So yeah, I agree with you. And then the poor folks that, the frontline workers, as we called them, they don't make enough money. People live with people here. That's a very common thing, especially because of the culture, from the Caribbean and everything. People live with aunt, grandma, cousin them, roommate, like New York, like grown-ups in New York that have 10 roommates or whatever just to make ends. It's not easy. So people pool resources. That's been happening. So it's super important to consider. Ebony says, my sister lived in London, mucho expensive. She now lives in Kent. Interesting. Yeah, there's so much more that we can say, but I have promised my guest I will respect his time, Simon. So final comments from you, my brother, before I drop you down and say goodbye. I can't even read no more chats. I appreciate everybody. I'll just throw a few more up. But final comments from you, Simon?
Thank you for having me up. I listened to the whole thing, to be fair.
Thank you.
And I continue to work with you. And I think you know, in the future, we just got to get to grips with all this stuff. It's not going to happen
Mm-hmm.
overnight, obviously, but as long as we're in connection with the right people, do that. I think people need to get in connection with the right people and just, you know, get past the whole feeding thing.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
we're at a place where it's just like, this is unprecedented. Like, like I couldn't really sort of connect with anyone. Although I was just living my life and I was in a place and I'm in a state. I could do certain things. I'm capable of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to contribute to my Black community,
Mm-hmm.
but only if they allow me to.
All right now. I think they're ready for you. I think we are. We're looking
Let's,
for ways to collaborate. Y'all go over to Simon Hectic's channel. Thank you. This is his Instagram. Thank you, RM. Gotta drop you down, bruh, because we out of time. But I always find it,
See ya.
I love, it's a joy to always have you. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. Simon Hectic in the building. Always supportive and very much a very deep brother from the UK,
Mm-hmm.
always like, conscious, very conscious of
Right.
what's at play here, not just, surface level. Deep brother. Go support his channel, y'all. So the intentional millionaire, listen, I can't even bring you up, but thank you so much for being here. Yes, Ebony said a pandemic. I see what you're saying.
Playing.
Mr. Orlando Minor, I'm going to give you the final word. Y'all see his website, Facebook, Insta, holla at him. Always a pleasure to have new faces up here. This is a big deal, y'all. So I hope you guys enjoy. Go back after the stream and comment below so more people can watch it. But I
Please
thank you
do.
for being here. Final word, yes, Simon out here trying to make people blush. I'm like, Simon, what we doing? Tell my Simon ready to risk it. Y'all so funny. I know, I don't see everybody in the chat. I know some of y'all busy. I don't take it for nothing. Team replay.
Right.
Much love to you. I know how it is because I want to watch everybody's stuff and I can't. I know
It's a
it's not a
lot.
lack of love, but I just can't watch. It's like so many people I rock with out here. So if
Mm-hmm.
you don't see me for a while, don't take it for nothing. It's not my love is not gone from you. It's just that I just have a lot on my plate too, and I got we're all busy trying to live this life. But yeah, Andrew, thank you again for coming up. Everybody who super chatted, yeah, I agree with most of what's going on in the chat. I can't read
Mm-hmm.
no more. He got to go, y'all. So final thoughts, Orlando.
Well,
Final thoughts
first,
about renting, buying, and everything that we've
yeah,
discussed.
yeah. First of all, I just want to thank you for allowing me to come onto your platform. I really, really, really appreciate
Thank
the invite.
you.
And but yeah, I think when it comes to renting or buying, I think the most important thing is to look at your personal situation. If you have to buy, don't think that, oh man, I don't want to buy because rent and all that. You just have to follow what works for you and your situation. Same thing goes for renting. If it makes sense to rent, then rent. Just make sure that you do your research. Make sure you look at all the data points that are out there when it comes to insurance, taxes, and all the other stuff, interest rates, to make a sound decision for yourself.
Yes. Again, this number one thing, keeping up with the Joneses, is
Mm-hmm.
hurting us in a lot of ways. Again, I think Ebony, nice to see you. Ebony said, be patient. I wanted to put that up as the final thought.
It is.
Um, Professor Kitty Pie says, enjoyed your expertise, Orlando. I'm
I
still buying
appreciate
though.
that.
That's do what's best for you.
Yeah,
We're not
exactly.
going to encourage anyone who's not able to do what they, or want to do what they want to do it. But yeah, Ebony, of course, I'm lost in the chat. But yeah, be patient. Think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Don't rush because
Right.
other people are doing it. Also, the situation may change with the pending recession, what everyone believes will be a
Right.
pending recession. So
Right.
don't get caught up in the hype of because a lot of people did it because of their, windfall during the pandemic of the government money. Now I gotta run and go buy stuff that it might not, suit me, and I can end up in a hole,
Mm-hmm.
or even worse, losing the home in a foreclosure. So you want to
Right.
just, be very astute. Get with a real estate professional like Orlando. Find people who know what they're talking about, know what they're doing. Watch his videos, go subscribe so you can learn the language, the jargon, and all that. And peace and blessing to my brother for coming through And
I
yeah,
appreciate
you
it.
did say that, Ebony. I did see that. You said something about be patient. All right, Orlando, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for being patient with me
No
today.
problem.
And you're always welcome. And if I could ever be of service, let me know. Shout out to Orlando
Thank
Minor
you.
for coming through. Have a great night, brother.
You
I'll
too.
see you soon. And again, fantastic advice. Only here. I need you guys to support, like, comment, share. Y'all go back and watch these shows. I'm not even going to tell you again because we did great shows. Mental Health Men Hide was last show. Shout out to Nelson Counseling. Fantastic discussion. Coming up tomorrow, dating. Y'all been waiting for this one. Poor Andre gonna get to work because he's been postponed a couple times, but he's here, y'all. Andre Hatchett, dating as a high value man. What y'all got to say about that? I don't know. And of course, tonight was fantastic. Thanks to my brother Orlando Minor. So y'all keep the energy up. I will see you tomorrow. At the very end of the month, as I told you, I'll be taking a little break, going on vacay to Jamaica, and I can't wait to show some of that on here as well as on my Patreon. So anyway, peace and blessings, y'all. Hit the like button on your way out. I hope you have enjoyed as much as I have. All right. Good to have you here on the Suzette Speaks show, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.